quarantined.
So like, what's it like being a Black realtor in the UK? And wait, before you answer that, I'll tell you another personal story interaction that I had. So
Yeah, sure.
there's a guy here in the States. We don't talk any longer. Like, I don't know him. It was just, I can deal with him. This is largely, blithely disrespectful to African American culture. But
Okay.
Nigerian dude, British born, raised. And I asked him, essentially, like, why are you here if this is the way that you feel about X, Y, and Z? And he said, specifically from a property realty standpoint, he was like, you can come here, work hard, and be at the top of your field, right? Easily. He was like, I can't tell you how many top selling Black realtors there are in Atlanta. He was like, you don't see that where I'm from. And I was like, really? And he's like, yes, you do not. Like, there'll be some inroads, there'll be some, progress. But he was like, by and large, he was like, there's nothing like this country for my specific field of work. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what's it like being a Black realtor in the UK? Like, is that true? Like, how?
Yeah, I mean, I can only vouch for my own personal experiences and what I've heard other Black people in my industry say. I would definitely say there is definitely a level of prejudice. How sort of blatant and how obvious it is, I think varies depending on, number one, which company you work for, where you work, because London is a lot more cosmopolitan, diverse than other cities in the country, and it also depends on the type of clientele that you're dealing with. So I've definitely had experiences where I felt prejudice. I think you may have seen on the appearance that I had on the BBC where I'd often go into wealthy people's houses, and I might have looked slightly younger at the time. Maybe I didn't have as much facial hair, but there was always a slight stigma on someone of my type coming in and trying to advise them on how best to sell their asset. They'd say things like, "Oh, you speak really well," or "You really know your market." And there's a sort of underhanded compliments that essentially say, "Well, you didn't expect me to based on my appearance, right?" So it's not really a compliment. It's more of an insult, if anything. So I've had instances of that happening for sure. But what's probably a wider discussion and a more important conversation is not so much your interactions with the clients, but your interaction with the corporation or the company that you work for. You want to look at the representation of Black people at senior levels, and there's, I believe, a ethnicity pay gap report of some sort coming out in this country soon. But the representation is, for me, a bigger issue. I sort of one Black senior director in my whole company out of a company of 1,100 people, where there was one senior Black director, and we're not asking for there to be all Black senior directors. We're asking it to be representative, not just of the people who work there, but representative of the market, representative of what we can offer, and representative of how talented a lot of us actually are if you give us the right opportunities. And I think there's definitely a while to go before we get to a stage where I feel that representation at a senior level has been reached. So to answer your question in summary, I think, yes, the problem definitely exists and needs to be addressed and needs to be tackled, both from a company level, but also from a customer and a client level. But I'm sure that problem exists on a bigger scale in the US, for sure.
Do you still work for a major company, or did you go it completely on your own?
I don't. So I'm setting up my own platform and I work for myself, and that's more of a personal preference. I've always felt especially over the last couple of years, that for me to be the best version of myself, I just never saw myself working for somebody else full time. And I think if there was ever a time to be entrepreneurial, it's for our generation. The opportunities out there and the barrier to entry into being your own boss and to being entrepreneurial is way less than what it was for our parents' generation. So, I'm also really keen on, like I said, really achieving those goals and sticking to those principles that I have. And I feel it's difficult to do that, through my lens anyway, or through my efforts, if you're a part of somebody else's dream,
Right.
I want to be purely a part of my own.
Right.